You are live in the Big Brother house. Please do not swear. So, good evening, everybody. We're going to say good evening now, and then we're going to refrain from saying good evening every time someone joins the chat, because these are the things I cuss about when people go live, because it's a constant interruption. And I get it. You want to big up the people who've taken the time to tune in, but just good evening. Just take it as a pre-recorded recording, a pre-record.
See, I love that about it. That's the nicest way of telling me to shut up. I love it. Love it. Thank you so much.
We're just going to rein it in. We're going to rein it in. So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for joining us for this One Nation relaunch. And we've got a couple of special guests who are also here with us this evening who are going to join us on screen. So, stay tuned. If you haven't already got yourself a beverage, do that. Get yourself together, get comfortable, and join us to enjoy the ride and catch two jokes and some vibes. So, Maurice.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm good.
Yeah?
You?
Good. How you feeling in this moment?
Nervous.
To get here.
Excited and nervous. Excited and an equal amount of excited and nervous because it's been a journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've got this thing I want to show to the world, and I'm like, I really hope they feel this. I hope they understand what it's all about, where it came from, and excited at the same time because it's like the realization of a vision.
Yes, bringing it to life.
Yeah.
It's a good position to be. I think nervous mixed with excitement is good, not just nerves, because there's no real reason to be nervous. It's a beautiful thing.
I know.
But I get it. So obviously, like we've talked about, a lot of people know you as DJ Crook, and people have great things to say about you as DJ Crook. So I did some scouting and pulled together some quotes, and there's a common theme which I'm sure Jay will touch on when we introduce her shortly, in regards to the work that you and her have done together.
I'm just going to move this a little bit because you're off screen a little bit. I want to be able to see.
But some of the things that I found online were people saying, from a DJ perspective, that you're an excellent craftsman. It's a word that comes up very often alongside your name. And that you really know your craft and you know how to engage your audience. You never disappoint, and people should definitely hire you. Another comment was that you mix old school hits with new school and you play with pure class, which I thought was also another beautiful comment. And craftsmanship and working of a crowd is a joy to watch. Your knowledge of music comes like you are a librarian. Plus, you have beautiful turntable and mic skills. Can you talk to us a little bit about your DJ journey and how you became DJ Crook? How did Mini Crook start to get to DJ Crook?
That's probably something I will. That starts with a woman by the name of Sister Culture, and when I was about 9 years old, having summer holidays in London, I one night heard this music playing outside, sound system set up and playing outside. This is back in the days when you could play sound system outside without police coming in.
Them long times ago.
Yeah. I was really just kind of mesmerized, captivated by the music, and I was too young to go outside them time of night. I was about nine years old, like I said, but kind of cracked the window and I was listening. I was up half the night just listening to the sound. And it was like I said, Sister Culture, who's a bit of a legend, an icon, and a trailblazer in many ways, because even to this day, there are not many women who have their own sound system.
Yeah.
So she really was a pioneer like that. And she would not only select on the sound, play the sound, carry box with the sound, but also she'd toast on the sound. She was very much against slackness and slack lyrics, particularly against women. So she kind of was a campaigner against that and really advocated that the tune that she was playing and other sounds played were not kind of, degrading women in that way. So she was very big on that too. So it was really from listening to her one night, I was just captivated by that. And I just, from that moment on, I just kind of pestered her for the rest of that summer holiday about, can I come and look at your sound system? Can I come and play some of your records and whatever? And she took me under her wing. That was really the beginning of my kind of entry into music and sound system in particular. I grew up on a road in Wolverhampton where music was a big part of our way of life.
Right.
That was primarily reggae music. I didn't actually discover other genres of music until I was about 10 years old. Up until I was about 9, I only knew reggae music existed. I had never heard any other genre of music.
At all
until I was about 10. And then the second genre I discovered was pop music from school days.
Yeah.
From then, I just kind of started to discover all these different genres of music. And that's partly where the eclecticness comes from. So I do like to take people on a musical journey because I like, so when people ask me what I play, I say it's quicker if I tell you what I don't play. Mm-hmm. So I just tell them I don't play rock, I don't play classical, and that's it.
Anything else can get
pretty much anything else. Yeah, as long as it ain't Wifey and Starship, it can, or any R. Kelly, then it can get played.
Or cameos.
Yeah,
we're not going to go there.
It might even get played, but yeah, apart from that.
I don't think I've ever heard you play that.
I have played it because actually I like the tune.
Yeah.
Candy it's actually a great tune. It's just been battered. So we don't really do that too much around
here. Not even the General Levy version.
We don't do that around here. We don't really do that around here.
I hear you. I'm joking. So I did touch on Taught by an Icon, which was Sister Culture, and that's who you've actually just shared with us. How did you then transition into having the idea of creating One Nation, and what was the impetus for that becoming an event?
Frustration at not being able to find the kind of musical experience that I wanted, which was eclectic in terms of genre and in terms of era.
Right.
And I couldn't find anywhere that played the full scope for me to go as a raver that played the full scope of music that I wanted to hear in one night. So I want to go to a night where I can hear Dennis Brown and Loose Ends and General Levy or whatever in the same night, and it was really hard for me to find anywhere that really gave me that full breadth of music, of old school and as well as new stuff as well, because we love old school and the classics, but also I want to hear something that I've not heard before. You know what I mean? I want to be wowed, like, my God, who is this? What is this? I want that as well as the old school classics. And I struggled to find that, especially in Brixton, with the wave of gentrification that's been sweeping through here. So in the end, I just thought, you know what, if I can't find what I'm looking for, let me just create it myself. And that's pretty much how One Nation was born as an event.
And how old is One Nation now?
We celebrated our 10th anniversary last year.
Wow.
So yeah, this year will be our 11th year of existence.
Yeah. Decades, decades in the game.
Yes.
All right. So you decided to expand on the brand and develop additional services that are complementary to the sound system and the cultural sound system and what that does. But before you get into that, I would like to invite Jay Gibbs to the live, who is a brand identity pioneer, I want to say. She cultivates brands. She creates the most amazing synergies between the vision you have that you want out in the world and her methodology. I won't get into that. I'm going to leave you guys to have that conversation. But just to give the audience a taste, Jay's methodology empowers her clients to embody their authentic self through their business. She works with healers, creators, and change makers to cultivate people-centered and purpose-led brands that people value, trust, and advocate for. And Jay has been instrumental in recreating One Nation. And so Maurice is going to invite her to the stage and they are going to chop it up, as it were.
Hey!
You're proper gassing me up.
You have to be gassed. How you mean?
Oh, wow. No, that was special.
You are special, man. How you mean?
Oh, look at the plants attacking me. Yeah. Wow, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good to be here. It's good to see this day come. And it's been we were talking backstage, it's been a process. And this is part of the methodology that you kind of spoke to, Sid. It's a process. And I was just before, I know we're going to get into a conversation, but as you were speaking about like where One Nation came from and your journey, I was reflecting back. It was taking me back to the workshops that we had and how that story unfolded through our exploration and conversation, and the kind of like a clarity that kind of just came through, and the linkages, like how the themes kind of run through the story and then into how you do what you do, why you do what you do. So I was just reminiscing.
Yeah, it's been a great process. Yeah, it's been a great process. Sorry.
No, go. This is
okay. Yeah. So Jay, I really wanted to give people a bit more of an appreciation and an insight into that process that we went through, because that really underpinned everything that we're going to see and show people going forward. And some people will remember, some of the people in the chat as well might remember being sent out a questionnaire that they filled out and sent back, and might even be thinking, what happened with that questionnaire? What this is part of what happened with the questionnaire. Do you want to say a little bit about the process that you took me through with One Nation? Because the purpose was obviously I wanted to level up the business. Like I just said to see, we've been in existence for over a decade now, and I really wanted to bring a higher level of experience, not even just service, experience to our people and to our community. And so really, I guess that's where the whole conversation began. But do you want to say something about that process you took me through? Because like Sid said, it was, I could go on with more big, long, expensive words as well to describe the value of what you did. So it's a little bit about that process that you took me through, please.
Okay. I'm tempted to throw it back to you. Like, what was the process that you felt you went through, and then maybe I fill in.
Okay.
Maybe I'll jump in.
Go on then. Let's do it like that.
Yeah.
So you want me to start talking about the process?
Well, yeah. What's your recollection? Like, where did we come? Where did you come in? Like, how did it feel to?
How did it feel
to do the question? You mentioned the survey. What was that like? What was that experience like for you?
So sending out that survey to everyone was a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, because I'm wondering what people are going to say. Are people going to be honest? Are they really going to say what they think and feel? And I remember that we made it anonymous to encourage people to be open and honest with their answers. And so I trust that people were. But initially, I found out about you by watching one of Sid's live streams whenever. I can't remember when it was.
It was Up Your Game, I think.
Right. So I first saw you and found out about you by watching one of Sid's live streams. And, I had a conversation with her about you, and she was doing just like she did a little while ago. She was like, "Oh my God, Jay's amazing! Oh my days, oh my days!" and two things that stuck in my head that she said was, what Jay does is revolutionary, and she said, you will get it in terms of the value of what she does. You will get it once you go through it. You will get it, and that stuck in my head. And that rings true to this day, because when we started the process with you getting me to do that questionnaire or sending it out, I'll admit I had like a half an appreciation of the value of what you're doing, because I've never been through this process before. So part of me was still like, where are we going with this? What are we? Is this really gonna be that important to what we're doing. You know, I'd never been through this whole brand process before. So as we were going along, I was like, okay, I'm connecting dots and seeing, okay, yeah, I can see where this can work and what have you. But it wasn't until we really got to the end of it. Maybe I'm jumping forward a bit too far. But once we got to the end of it, what Sid said came back into my head, because now I've been through it and I was like, I get it now. I fully get it now. Because all that came back from, let's say, that survey, I had no idea that people thought and felt the way that they did about One Nation until the results came back in from that survey. I had no idea that what we were doing meant that much to people until I read it in that survey. I had no idea of how important that thing was to people until I read it in the survey. So that was really good, because in a way I felt validated, you know, by the last 10 years of what we're doing. Actually, my gosh, people really value this. This is actually really important to people. So yeah, that's that questionnaire was very enlightening. It was very heartwarming, and I felt it was validating for all the effort that I put into that thing that people don't see. I felt actually it's not, they do see it, they do appreciate it, even though might not be in the room when I'm doing what I'm doing, but they do appreciate what I'm doing. So yeah, it was all of those things.
Nice. Yeah, that's always good to hear. It is something that people do share about that experience. A bit scary, but also very insightful, very revealing to hear your audience, your clients, your community give you that feedback, give you those words about what you do. So I remember that.
And also understanding who my audience was.
Yes.
You know, from the breakdown of how much percentage are women and how much percentage are men, and then saying why they come and why they feel comfortable, especially why the women feel they comfortable to just rock up by themselves. That was something that kept coming up again and again and again through the survey. Women saying that I feel comfortable to come on my own. I had no idea that was such an important thing, but it was, you'll probably remember, it was something that we kept seeing time and time again. Women saying, I feel comfortable coming by myself.
Yeah. Because of the environment that you had created, what came through really strongly, and you might see the themes of this running through the website, socials, the brand in general, is this community that you have created, that you've facilitated. And some of the things that Sid read out before, what people were saying about you, definitely showed up throughout that survey. And then there was one at the end that I left to, like, for that little icing on the cake. I don't know if you remember. It was it's like your Sunday dinner.
Yes.
Like your mum's Sunday dinner. Your mum's Sunday you know what it is, but it's always good.
Yeah. That's it. Like your mum's Sunday dinner, even though you know what you're gonna get, you're never disappointed or something like that.
Yeah. And that was just a nice little icing on the cake, which kind of brought it all together. But yeah, so I mean, to like skip back a little bit, we started with your story, which you've just shared, and that, like I said, that came through with all the threads, and then doing the survey and getting the feedback from that, we could start to then see the threads that weave through your story and what people are experiencing and what's bringing them to you and bringing them back and all of this good stuff. And then we can start, as you say, to build a profile, an understanding of the community and what links them together, what unites them, what's the important thing that One Nation does for them. So that was the first kind of part. And then we kind of get into like, well, why are you doing this? What's the purpose behind this? What's your why? And we start to weave all those threads through and it all the clarity starts to emerge, and it all starts to make sense. Oh, this is why I'm doing this, because, you know, when I was back on that road listening to reggae, you know, you fast forward and you see all the threads that have led you up to this point. So
that was a great process. It was a great process, and it actually helped me to the thing I gained the most out of this brand DNA process with you was clarity about why I exist and why I'm here doing what I'm doing, and then being able to match that up with the responses of the people saying why they continue to keep coming to One Nation, and then starting to see the synergy between my why and their why. You know, for example, you know, with Ritzy being in Brixton, and primarily I wanted to base it here because I wanted to stand as something that was against the wave of gentrification that's in the area as well. And a lot of people could relate to that. A lot of people could relate to the fact that they could go somewhere and get an experience as Black people without the gentrifiedness in the event, and feel prioritized in the event, you know, and not feel that they had to code switch or you know, small up themselves in any way, shape, or form. And so that clarity is what I gained from that process. I'm like, this is actually the root of why I'm here, not just as an event, but as a brand and as a DJ, and all these kind of things run through everything I do, and I get it now. And it also helps me to inform what we do going forward, and making sure that whatever we do going forward is in alignment with the why. You know, this is why we do this. This is why we do it here. This is why we have these speakers or this sound or what have you, because we're from sound system, and sister culture taught me the importance of sound system, good sound, and not playing slackness in the dance. And maybe that's one of the reasons why so many women said they feel good to come by themselves, because we don't play slackness in the dance. You know, so getting that clarity with everything was wonderful. It was like, it's like having blurred vision kind of clear up. It was good. It was good.
I love it. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And I want to say,
just one other thing real quick. Another thing that's done for me is it's in terms of making decisions going forward about who I work with as a business.
Right.
That really informs now who I work with as a business. So when I have negotiations with people about any kind of collaboration, I'm looking at what their why is, and I'm looking at what's driving them, and if they're not in alignment with my why, then sometimes I say to them, well, actually, maybe I'm not the best fit for you, or maybe I'm not the best person for this job. It's allowing me to say no to some people, or whereas sometimes we feel under pressure to always say yes to everybody. Well, actually, now I've started saying no to more people, which is very liberating.
And also I want to say to that, what that can do is bring out your best work, right? Because when you're working with people that are aligned, things flow in a different way, and things come out of that in a way that you can't always envisage at the beginning, right? It's following these alignments. When you know who you are, what you stand for, then you know who you're aligned with, and you can move accordingly, and it starts to flow and link together in a more organic way.
Absolutely. And it's less stressful as well, because I'm not having to work against the tide of, or we're not having to have our objectives or, you know, our perspectives or anything like, or our philosophies clashing, because we're on the same page. You know what I mean?
Not compromising.
Yeah, it's easier to work, and I feel like greater work is achievable when there is that underlying alignment. But I only have that now because of going through that process. And so it's great, you know, even up to this week, I've been saying yay and nay to different people based on where people's values are and where they're coming from. So it's been good.
And on the values, I want to just jump in and say the second part. So we talked about the first part of that work, and then the second part, once you kind of clear on your why and where your whys connect you with your people, then we go in and shape that DNA, the truths, the core pillars of truth that you stand by, that anchor you, the values that drive you forward, the characteristics, the shape of your voice, you know, all of these things. We start to build that picture of brand around those anchors that are important. So yeah, I just wanted to just wrap that little bit up at the end.
But yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful, and it was very much like Sid said. She said, once you go through it, you'll get it. And man, when we'd finished that, and you know, you'd sent me everything that we'd uncovered or discovered in this process. It was a wonderful kind of light bulb type moment, man. It was great, and it really has helped me to give me a clearer direction on where I'm steering this ship, you know. So it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant, and I'm very, very
I hope
grateful.
your brand world guide is still seeing daylight. It's
Absolutely. Sometimes I do have to remind myself, because obviously it's new as a reference point, but it's good to have it as a reference point. So yes, it does still see daylight.
Good. Yeah, and I'm I know you're gonna move on and speak to Kaylee about this, but also I kind of want to just almost like do the layup in, like, you know, how we kind of work together, and kind of I give her all of this as well. So when she's coming in to do the visual design and the website strategy, and there's all this she gets as a foundation to build on. And yeah, that's the layup. So yeah, just wanted to bring that in.
And it's a nice layup. It's a very good layup. Do you want?
I want to ask the $1 million question that as business owners, as service providers, that myself and Jay and Kaylee often come up against, which is that when you talk to clients, I often get people coming to me too early in their process, and then I say, oh, you need to go back a couple of steps and solidify your brand before we get to the point of systemizing your business. And like you said, one of the struggles that I have, no matter, I've been working with Jay, you know, entwined with Jay and known Jay for like 20 years, but we've been working on and off with each other for years now. And I still struggle to articulate what she does. But when I say to people, yeah, your brand really isn't clear. And I think it would be a great starting point to take a couple of steps back, work with Jay, or just have a conversation. Because it gets to the point where I can't explain it. And I'm like, just have a conversation. And they're like, yeah, well, I don't need a logo. And I'm like, what?
It's not a logo.
Your brand is not a logo. Your brand is not a logo. I just want to say it for the people in the back. Your brand is not a logo.
Yes.
And people just don't have an understanding. And I know Jay can speak on this way more than me, but I find it frustrating. I don't do branding.
Yeah, and I remember us having that same conversation where, because initially I was starting this process with you. Yeah. And you said to me that exact same thing. I think you need to go back and go through this. Hence, that was the layup to Jay. But yeah, I can absolutely say that I'm so glad you did that, because it obviously all made sense now. Going back to the beginning and laying the foundations first made sense. To be you're going to build on something, you lay the foundations 1st and you build up. So it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it worked out. Just perfectly. It wouldn't have made sense to go through the whole business systems process and then go back.
No.
To do the other one.
Because it would have shifted. It would have shifted.
Yeah.
So a question I have now with that is, what has been the shift? Where were you before and where are you now?
So where I was before was not really clear at all on the why people continue to come to One Nation. I just thought it's a nice event, and I put it on for the reason that I stated before, because something to stand against the gentrification that was sweeping the area. I wanted Black people in particular to have, or at least lovers of Black music, but Black people in particular to have an experience that was gentrification free, particularly in this area of Brixton. But I wasn't aware before the survey that we did of the deeper importance and significance that people placed on that experience, on having that experience. So like I said, the survey was validating for me in one respect. Where we are now is everything is, so we're going to be showing, website and logo and all of that's leveled up, but everything is leveled up from front of house stuff to all of the tech that we use is leveled up. All of the tech, all of the sound system stuff, all the live streaming stuff, the cameras that we use, the lighting, Sid coming in, my God, studio.
Yeah.
Everything is leveled up, front of house and behind the scenes as well. So people are going to be seeing and feeling and experiencing and getting a whole new level of experience from One Nation. And it's something that one of the driving forces behind this leveling up of the brand and the business was, I'm not sure if it was like throughout the lockdowns, but probably was that time, because we were all out, or those of us in the entertainment business were out of work for all that time and had a lot of time just to be sitting at home, twiddling our thumbs and wondering what we're going to do. And I think through that time, I spent a lot of time looking online looking at what other people were doing and what other services were offered out there. And I was looking at a lot of wedding services and things like that. And I saw lots of really good, and I started following people, and there were lots of good wedding services that I was seeing, particularly in America, more than over here. But I was seeing these very high-end services being delivered, and they look great. But the one thing I noticed was that the vast majority of them were targeted at white people, which isn't a problem. But it said to me, as a Black person looking in, I was like, these places aren't even trying to reach me. They're not even trying to appeal to me. They don't value my money. It's the same money. You don't value, like, we have money too. We have weddings too. We celebrate too. We have funerals too. We do all of these things. But none of these services I was looking at this high level were even trying to reach me, I felt. And just like with the not being able to get that kind of Black musical experience in Brixton that led me to create One Nation, I was offended by how I was feeling looking at all of these sites. And again, it led me to say, well, okay, if I can't find, or if I'm struggling to find this level of service that is aimed at my people, then let me just create it, and it's that kind of mindset, which again, this is something that came out in the brand DNA process of me being much of a Pan-Africanist, a Garveyite thinker. If you can't find a seat at the table, you build your own kind of mentality. And so that's really what started the whole kind of burning desire to level up and like, we are worthy and deserving of a level of that service as well. Why am I struggling to find this level of service, high level of service that is in the Black people? So yeah, that was really the kind of burning desire in me that led me to want to level up the business,
Yeah, and as you say, and that really did come out through the process, through our conversations together. It was really prominent, and I think, you know, if you go onto the website, you'll see how that comes through. And yeah, this care and professionalism and attention to detail. I can't remember. We had a word for it, and I can't remember what it was. As a particular
intentional extraness.
Yes.
There was this thing that kept coming through about this, you know, bringing the plant, rearranging the plants in the Ritzy, and like this care and attention that just goes into the experience that you want to provide for the community, for Black people to feel, as you said, that they're deserving, we are deserving, and we deserve quality, we deserve professionalism, we deserve all of these things, and that really is a core pillar of the One Nation experience brand.
Absolutely, and particularly the leveling up that we're showing from today onwards. And also, it was also a feeling that, or a belief / feeling that my parents' generation, they sacrificed and settled for less, so that my generation did not have to. So I'm not about continuing that pattern of constantly settling for less than we are worth. We don't have to. They did that so that we don't have to. So, you know, I almost feel like I kind of owe it to them, you know, to operate on a higher level and not just be settling for whatever we can get or whatever, you know, whatever is available. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
beautifully said.
Thank you. Where do you want to go from here?
I was going to ask you, is there anything else that you wanted to add, Jay, that you kind of stood out for you in the process?
I think we've kind of talked about it, the things that really stood out. But yeah, I mean, just, I suppose, like, being a creative led person, this process is suited to people-centered people, you know, people that care about people, that have, you know, that there is a purpose behind what you're doing, there is a why. And being a kind of a creative person as well, being able to kind of really delve into what's underneath things, and like not just on the surface, but maybe where some of this might be coming from. That's really where the juice is, I want to say. And you brought the juice. So yeah, I appreciate it. It was fun. It was a fun thing to do. Like we're talking about a lot, you know, there's process, there's work involved, but also it is fun. Like we have fun while we're doing it. We bring who we are. You brought fully who you are into this process, and that's where we get the best. That's where we get the best work. So yeah, just yeah.
Fab. Well, I know the sessions that I joined with you guys was jokes. We spent way too much time playing, and it was just like, is this work? Like there were times when you look on the screen at all of our faces on Zoom, and you're just like, if you could think about this 20 years ago, would you ever see yourself doing this and this being work?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it is work, but work can be fun. Work can be enjoyable. Work is fulfilling, is all of these things, and and the output shows it. You know, the output shows it.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us, Jay, taking the time out to be a part of the live unveiling.
Do you want to say? Do you want Jay to tell people where they can get her?
And and we want to say to Jay of Empowering Purpose, where can people find you? Other than, I want to say, sorry, on the website, once we unveil it, there is a site credits page where you can find the details of the team that helped to bring the brand to life. But in the meantime, Jay, if people want to find you independently, where can they go?
Yeah, empoweringpurpose.co.uk. You can find me on Insta.
Yeah.
Not very active on Insta, but I'm there. I'm present sometimes. LinkedIn, likewise. Quiet. I'm a bit quiet, but yeah, that might be changing soon. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay.
Cool.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Me up at the beginning. I'm still like, I feel a bit,
I'll send you the recording, yeah? I'll send you the recording.
Yeah, I just listen to it every morning. That's enough.
Get yourself ready for the day.
And thank you again for taking me through the brand DNA process with One Nation. It's been wonderful to go through, and I really see, having been through the process now, I can fully advocate for it and fully see and appreciate the importance of what you do on this brand, on the One Nation brand. And just, I'm so grateful for all that you've done to help this brand level up. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, and I just can't wait to see what's happening, what's going to happen, what the next level, what the level up is. And
there'll be a next one. I'm sure we're going to. And there'll be a next one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the events announcement as well, whenever that's coming.
I know. People
no
are
pressure.
People are on me. It's not just you. Everybody's on me. Oh, when are you going to start back at One Nation? Come on, we're waiting. I know.
It's one thing at a time, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Happy birthday and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.